Yo, 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 everyone. Welcome to the latest podcast episode. This is your host, Terry Knight, and I have the incredible Char here, and she's blowing up on social media. She's been helping out big people on social media as well, blowing up, going viral, building brands left and right. I had to get her on because she's like the expert to kind of learn from and to hopefully, take some golden nuggets and do it in between with yourself. But Char, thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate you.
And thank you for having me on. That's a great introduction. I appreciate that, although I'm humbled by it. No, I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
No, thank you. So first and foremost, let people know who Shar is, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, so I own a social media and consulting agency called Brand Social. And really, I focus on one side a lot on the personal brands, on helping them launch on Instagram. And then I just opened it. I started out with businesses years ago,
Hmm.
man, over 7 years ago. And then the last several years, like probably 4 years, I've focused mainly on personal brands. This last fall, I reopened my business to social media management for businesses and brands. It's been a really exciting time because I missed that interaction.
Yeah,
I offer management, content services for social and high level and consulting.
cool. In a nutshell, summary, Shar. Social media is like a big platform. I'm sure you're surprised how many business owners and people still don't take it seriously or don't even have one. How often do you see that, and why is that?
Well, think a lot of business owners didn't grow up with it. So you think about like the age range of people too who are just now realizing the value of it. I think the younger generation does, but like I just picked up another company this last week, and it's a moving company, and they've been around for 17 years. So for
Wow.
them, having social media wasn't important, and they didn't, have a need to be online or on Instagram or Facebook or these places. They built off of word of mouth and referral and some of the methods that, have been around since the beginning of time without social media. And so now that people like that are waking up, they're seeing like, oh, if I could get on social, that expands my reach by 10x. Like I'm going to reach people who don't even know I exist. And so I think it's been really in just the last few years that people have been realizing because other businesses, their competitors, are blowing up online, and they're going, how can I be seen the way that they're being seen?
Cool. Yeah, I totally agree. Kudos to getting that moving company. They
Yeah.
definitely need your help slacking on that one. What's the goal though when you work with these owners that don't take social media seriously? Like what's the goal for them to make sure they do their content? Like, how the heck do you go about that process and
Well, we're full
so forth?
service, so there's a couple of ways because it depends if they're local or not local. If they're
Mhm.
local, and then it's built into the management package for us to shoot the content. So I will give them a shot list that they approve, and it's very much like can't like done for you. But we'll show up. What I
Wow.
love is like I had such a good experience last week. Like I said, with this moving company, is there was like 20 plus people who movers, no experience filming at all, and
Mhm.
me and the videographer show up, and we were just like we just started maneuvering people. And so with the help of the owner, it's like, "You in this shot, you get in the shot, you get in the shot." And we're very used to I partnered with Jeremy is my partner, my boyfriend, and, he owns his own company, very high level video. He does film, commercials, all of the high level stuff. And I brought him into the agency to do the initial shoots because what it does is it lays down the foundation in case we shoot content with other people or if I continue with him. And
Mhm.
we're very much used to coming up with a shot list and then creative direction on site. I mean, just telling people, moving them around, what to do, and giving them visual examples. So if I have a shot list, and we're using, for example, viral reels that we're reshooting, you're going to know exactly what to shoot. So we've made it fairly painless for that person because all they have to do is show up and approve what's going to be done, and then we edit after. And then that way, it's not them trying to go, I don't know what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to, you're going to know exactly what to do because we're going to run through all of this with you before we even shoot. You can send it to your team. Everybody kind of knows what to expect when we arrive.
Gotcha. Well, that's pretty cool having that all in one bundle. They just you show up and they just listen.
Yeah, we
That's
try
it.
to do it that way because it's the thing that's painful for the person that's not used to being on social media is getting on social media. Like that's a pain point. Like when you're not used to being on there, you're very subconscious, and it's so normal to kind of go through that. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And so to have people who've been working with people who didn't have experience before really, really helps because that's what we're used to is half of the people I've worked with have a lot of experience and the other half have had zero experience. And so we kind of know what to do in both cases.
Gotcha. I was going to actually bring that up. So obviously, you work with business owners that really don't take social media seriously or just not, they're slacking. What about for people who have social media and they're just not getting that traction? They're
Yeah.
like, dang, sure, I'm not popping, I'm not going viral.
Yeah.
And people just want it instantly, like they just want something quick and fast. Like what do you say to those
Everybody
people?
wants it instantly. I mean, that is very common. But
Hmm.
so they'll hire me on the consulting side and I have strategy plans and where I'll help you launch. And it would maybe like a relaunch, but I'll make sure that you're like my expertise is in Instagram, but I've utilized all social platforms and a lot of the content carries over. But what I'll do is I'll look at the person's Instagram and I'll audit it with them. And the more important thing is like, what are your goals? Because Terry, if you told me that your goal was to make money, that's a very different goal than somebody that's trying to build just a community because they're a speaker and they want to be known. So I need to see what the different goals are because I've worked with different people who've had different goals. And from there, then we build a strategy that's launch phase. It's going to go, okay, first, does everything make sense? Is your bio, your pen content, your messaging, the content that you're putting out there, is it cohesive to your goals and to your mission? Do people know immediately when they get on your page that you're the expert of your industry? Do you stand out? Have you included your personal experiences in your story? So for me, because I've done it so long, like I had started out, like I said, managing first, and I still am a content director over another team that I scaled called Men of Action. There's Michael Sartain's over that. Basically, he's the face of that company. And so I had scaled him because I've worked really closely with Cody Sanchez as well in scaling personal brands. I understand when there's different phases for different things. And you go through growth phase, and then you'll have a phase where you're focused on maybe getting leads. And so there's like this lead magnet phase. And then, like, so understanding that will help me know where the person is because if they're just confused and they have no clarity, that's a different point than somebody that says, I'm stuck at 100,000 followers and we're just not growing. Like, where do we go from there?
Yeah, like a plateau. Yeah, I got you. You mentioned, kind of wanted to ask you about that. You worked with Cody Sanchez. She blew up, and I
Yeah.
remember her. I was following her for like quite a while, like even before she blew up.
Oh, then
Uh,
you were following her in the phase that, I was managing her. So I managed her. I was her first social media manager, and, I think when I took her on, she had 37,000 followers, but she'd been at it for quite a while and just not seeing any big growth for her. So when I took her on then, I was with her for 18 months and grew her to 400,000 followers, and, we were on a small but mighty team, and, I actually was over her LinkedIn and grew it. I grew her second contrarian thinking page at the time to 100K from 10K. I had to grow like multiple things, and so I was all in. I was still managing a few other businesses on the side, but with her, it was very much like it's like definitely an all in thing, and was so grateful for that experience because when I met her, I knew she was going to be big. Uh, and I told her that. I said, "How are you not famous yet?" I said, "We met on paddle boards. We weren't meeting because we were trying to work together. We met through friends. Like we were hanging out on a paddle board, waiting for our friends to catch up, that mutual friends." And I was just asking her about her life, and she was telling me, and I was, I remember my reaction just being like, "Wow, I haven't done anything. This woman has done it all." And I was just like, "How are you not famous? You're like the next female Gary Vaynerchuk." And she is. I don't like to compare her to anybody, but she is, she's carved her way, she's grown significantly. And so since that time, everybody I've worked with has been, I want to be the next Cody Sanchez. That's what I get. And I don't think they realize the amount of work that she put in to become who she is with a team, and so there are very few people that will make it to the Cody Sanchez level, and that's just a reality. But you can still get 10%. Doing 10% of what she did to get there will gain you so much. You just have to decide, like, how all in am I? How much of this do I want to commit to because it's not a part-time thing. This is an entire business and you're the face of it. So it was a growth phase for me. That's how I launched into the personal brand area, and then I grew Michael Sartain. He's a very different type of account for me, from I think it was what, 47 to 100K in like 1 year when I was with him. But not only that, I scaled their funnels. They didn't have an organic funnel. They sell a course and a mastermind, and all of their money came from ad spend. So when I opened up their organic funnel so that we were getting leads through their content that they were putting out there rather than just ads, then we grew that to 6 figures monthly. Just that funnel.
6 figures for that one funnel
For that,
organically?
yeah, I mean, they're a seven-figure company, but, I was really proud of the fact that they had no income coming from organic traffic, and so I've been with them for 3 years now.
Gosh, that's pretty cool.
Mhm.
What you mentioned funnels. Do you think when you're growing a page, you should have like one link, one product type of thing, or like like what's your take on that when you're trying to do organic
It's funny
content?
because I am so triggered by the idea that you can't have multiple, and I think it's because, well, I've worked with people with both, and
Hmm.
I have both. So it's hard
Right.
for me to tell you, Terry, that you can't have services that you're promoting and a course, and maybe you own a business. Because the people that I've worked with, they own multiple businesses. So how am I supposed to tell somebody that they can't do that when the people that I've worked with have been doing it for years? Now, that being said, I think it's really important that you do one thing well and that you're not promoting too many things simultaneously, because then you kind of sound like that, like, person that I don't know how to say it, like a used car salesman. Like, you're trying to sell everything, but then you're there and you're like, oh, I do this, I do this, I do this. Oh, wait, I can do
Yeah.
this. I'm also this. When you do that, you lose confidence in your customer and your potential client because they feel like this person does it all. How do they do the one thing really, really well? So I always want you to be known for that one thing. And it doesn't mean you can't open up a second page. And that's kind of what I did on a personal level, which I'll get into. But I think that if you're really wanting to do a course or something, then let's kind of go all in there. When you've done that well, then let's add maybe a couple of times a year where you're promoting the other thing. Or maybe we'll add that into the language a little bit more later on. But in the beginning, you've got to set a foundation, because if I'm going to hire you to speak on a stage, I need to know why I would hire you to speak on that stage in front of people. And you can't be the person that does 100 different things
Yeah.
until you've become known for the one thing, you know what I mean? So, like, Gary Vaynerchuk became known in the beginning stages for, like, wine TV and then morphed into other things, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like, Tony Robbins became known as sort of like a motivational speaker. I don't think he likes to be called that, or like life strategist, but then he moved into more of the business coaching phase, and like knowing how to be okay with people not knowing everything that you do and really just trying to hone in on the one is going to be so powerful, because that's going to make you stand out in your industry. So yeah, I think that you can do multiple things, but you really, really need to hone in on the one first.
Yeah. Focus. I totally agree
Mhm.
on that one. Shar, you mentioned Cody Sanchez. You said very few people can get to her level because of the amount of work needed. Can you explain to the viewers and the people listening, like, what does that mean in detail? Like, what type of work are they expecting to get to that level,
Well, she
and why?
hired experts in every area. So it was, she had a YouTube expert, she had, or let's just say that we were all like good, but then we became super, super experts. And I was hired for Instagram, and I knew that was my expertise. And then she hired someone for YouTube. She hired somebody for Twitter. She hired somebody for TikTok. I don't think people realize that it was 6 figures of investing that first year. Really, when the ball started rolling, started rolling pretty quickly, but she hired experts over every single channel, and we worked together as a mastermind
Yeah.
and fully committed. I make a joke that during those 18 months, I didn't look up from my laptop. I honestly don't remember doing anything those 18 months but working. Like, I lived, eat, breathe, and stuff. It was that phase in my life when they tell you that you're like, this is unhealthy, you have no balance, all you do is work. That was that phase where wasn't working out, I wasn't eating right that much, like, I was under a lot of stress, but it took that because, like, I also knew I was going to the next level. Like, I built an entire business from that, like, an entire, new offer from that, and I wouldn't have been able to do that if I hadn't grown to fill the shoes to support her, and she was all in too. She was all in 24/7, and even though she owned these other businesses, and, like, I was working 10 to 12 hours every single day, like, 7 days a week, like, literally those 18 months. And, no, I don't do to that level now. I have my days when I do, but at the time, like, I was growing, everybody on the team was growing, and she was growing as a result of us all being all in together. And so sometimes I'll get clients who tell me that they want that, but they're not involved. They'll freak out over the idea of investing more than 3 or 4 hours a week. And I'm like, I am so used to, even with like the Men of Action team, I am so used to people who really are all in, seeing that kind of results that they want. I don't think people realize like how all in these people are. This isn't casual. This isn't like haphazard. This is like you are married to this business to see it through and to really grow it and to your community. That's the level of people that I've worked with, and again, they stand out in their industries for a reason. Now, that being said, I've worked with people who've seen a lot of success who didn't invest as much time. They may not be Cody Sanchez, Tony Robbins type levels, but they still are very, very successful, and it's not for everybody. So people get in and then they're going, "Oh my god, I'd have to sacrifice time with my family. I wouldn't be able to travel as much, or I have these other businesses." Or maybe I just don't want to be on my phone and like involved with the team as much. So let's figure out what kind of result you want and how to reach that. And then maybe, like I said, it's not going to look the same, but it's going to be right for you.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
Yeah. Amount of work that she does. Yeah. Times 10.
My
It's way up
gosh.
there.
We all, and then the entire team too. It wasn't even just like, it was like all day long, every day, all of us.
That's crazy. Well, congrats to her. Yeah, she's up there in the millions now. Killing it. Shar, you mentioned Instagram's your bread and butter.
Hmm.
I feel like each platform is different, obviously, but I hear the most complaint from people from Instagram, and I think they don't understand it like you do. And I think that's where a lot of people have conflict. They go to TikTok, they go to these different platforms. What is the misconception as far as with Instagram, and what can people do to kind of pivot and give them a shot? Because they're adding features, they're doing this, but
Yeah.
it's different. Like it's just you got to pivot.
I think the misconception is that that there's one way for Instagram to work for you. And so what happens is people listen to experts like me and they'll go, "What they said to do this and it worked for them. And then this other person said to take this path and it worked for them. And this other person." And look, there's 100 different paths that have worked for 100 different people. And that's just the reality with Instagram because there's so many different pathways. It's not like YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook, which they're not changing their algorithm every week. They're not adding new features necessarily every week. Same with TikTok. It's very much like TikTok hasn't changed that much in the last few years. Like Instagram to me feels like that person that's never happy, that is always trying to have the next best thing, that's trying to be like
Hmm.
everybody else. And as a result, we're all stuck in this trying to figure it out together. So what I do is there are foundations that have not changed that you can stick with. Like I always tell people like having like a signature series that you're known for. Like you don't have to always ride the viral train in order to go viral. Like you can become known by having sort of like this series that you've created that people want to follow you for, if it's education especially. And like look at the people who've made it and are doing really, really well. They're not doing all these trends. They're not like using all of the extras. And I tell people most of the time, 80% of that, you don't need to do it. So what I recommend is sort of like the 80-20 rule. 80% of your content is going to sort of be figuring out what you can do and repeat and be known for. So people, when they hit your page, they know it's you. Terry, they are like, this is Terry's content. Like I see it repeatedly. He's becoming known for this. He's not changing with the winds and the waves, but he's tested to figure out what works. Testing titles, testing topics, testing the way it's been edited, but it's still sort of just making these tiny adjustments. So for 80% of your content doing that feels like I can breathe because now I kind of got a direction. I can test 2 to 3 different things every couple of weeks and then really figure out and hone in on my style based on what's worked for other people. And then the other 20% can be having fun. Let's try some of the viral stuff that you want to try. What does that look like for you? So that way it feels true to your brand and your messaging. So when you do that, and then that's when I like lay down a strategy. It's like a launch plan for you and you really stick to the launch plan and then you understand how to test content and try some of the new features. It doesn't feel like always trying to keep up with the Joneses. Instead, it feels like learning and understanding how to try and test things a little bit at a time and not be stuck in that needing to ride the next wave of Instagram and whatever it is that they're trying to roll out that week. And a big part of my job is troubleshooting because I've been with it so long and I've managed accounts Terry, when I go into these different accounts, your updates will look different than another client updates, than another one who may never got the update. Something will be
Yeah, sure.
broken because I've stared at it for literally like the last 7 or 8 years. Like, I understand how to troubleshoot pretty quickly for these different accounts, but I can't even begin to tell you how much people don't realize that, like, the troubleshooting, when you learn how to troubleshoot your account, that's a huge thing because so many things get broken and stuck. So, but sticking true to your foundation and your 80, having that 80/20 rule will keep you from feeling so crazy with all of these updates and needing to do them because you don't. You do not need to do every single thing Instagram's rolling out. You just be like, okay, Instagram, I'm going to stick to what I'm doing and I'll check that out on a Saturday afternoon when I have time. But I'm working with busy people who have businesses to run. They don't have time to be like, oh, let's try this new filter or let's try this new whatever it is. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't make sense for these companies and these founders to be trying to keep up with everybody else.
Yeah, I bet. That's even when Instagram made Threads, like that whole little spin-off thing. I'm just like, whoa, like I'm not on it like that. But
Yeah.
like, you kind of get sucker punch into like, these shiny syndromes type of things. Like, oh, this is new. Let me go over there and try it and do this and do that. Uh, what do you say for people who are trying to grow their accounts? Do you think they should stay like do they should use each platform or do you think they should just focus on one? Like what's your take?
And this is another thing. It's going to be what works for one works for differently for the other.
Yeah.
Look, you're already creating the content. So even if you don't have time, hire somebody overseas to put it out on the other platforms. Why not? You don't have to be putting all your time and energy into it yourself. But if you like, I put out a video for a client that didn't perform well on Instagram and then went super viral on TikTok, and they grew by thousands on TikTok. And that's what I'm saying, or YouTube Shorts. And especially, I actually really push YouTube Shorts for experts, especially because a lot of people go to YouTube. And there's a different type of audience on YouTube. There's an
Right.
audience with higher retention. There's an audience who's really trying to learn. There's a lot more business owners there. And there are people that make decisions when it comes to buying on YouTube, especially. Like, if you're putting it out on Instagram, why wouldn't you put it out on those additional pages? But figure out what those pages are. So, I mean, if it doesn't make sense to put it out on LinkedIn or Twitter, because sometimes it's not really a video platform, even though they do accept video, I do recommend at the least you put it out on YouTube Shorts and TikTok, along with, of course, Instagram Reels.
Okay, cool. Do you think it's good to use Instagram? Let me rephrase it. Which one do you prefer? Reels or like posts?
A mix. That's such a broad question. It depends because sometimes people do these really good. Now, I specialize in Reels because we do a lot of video content. So and I feel like it's become more of a video platform to the point that Instagram is thinking about opening up a secondary platform, because probably to compete with TikTok, where it's just videos only. So let's lay down the facts. It's not about my feelings. It's like, look, they've recognized the value in video. That's why they keep investing in tools for video editing. That's why they came up with their own app. That's they've rolled out. That's why they're thinking about doing a secondary app. So video content to me is a no-brainer. Also, people hearing you talk or seeing you interact with other people builds a different kind of trust than just writing, because now I know it's actually coming from you. It's not coming from a team, somebody that you just hired, like, you're actually there. So I always recommend video content. And then there's so much value in like carousels because you can jam pack information. And for the readers, you have different types of audiences. So to just alienate one over the other, you have to decide if you want to do that. Pictures with long captions tell a story really personal about you and helps you connect with the audience on a personal level. So I think having a mix is very helpful. And so that brings down to, when we're business management, we do the same. We'll do like some static images. Maybe the team wants to be involved and show their face or talk about the company behind the scenes. And we'll do like a
Mhm.
couple static posts, and then the rest will be reels throughout the week. So I kind of apply that 80/20 rule to that as well.
Okay, cool. And stories, Instagram stories, I hear that gets more reach as well. Do you agree with that, or is that
More
kinda like a myth?
so reach to connecting with your current audience. Doesn't sometimes you'll like see other people's stories at random. I don't know if they're still promoting that. Sometimes they would promote other people's stories and you'd see them be like, I'm not even following this person. I don't know if Instagram's doing that still actually. But for stories, it's your connection to your audience. It's the time when you're able to just like not be on. It's like, I'm just Terry getting ready for my podcast. Let me talk to them and just say, hey guys, I'm setting up for the podcast. And you have a chance to like, it's almost like picking up the phone, calling a friend, FaceTiming them, and sharing parts of your day. It's a great way to lay down the foundation of your brand. So if you have like a motto or something or a mission statement, now you can visually show that in action. So it's like for somebody that, like talks about like whether they're into fitness, but it may not fit with their brand, but that's really important to them or their kids or stuff to do with the family or God or whatever it may be. If you wanna include that in your branding, put it start, like, dropping it in your stories because your audience starts to make, associations to you and certain things, and then having really like, at least 2 to 3, even more strong associations will help people paint a better picture of you, and again, that builds that trust. And you can communicate with your audience in stories, you can poll them, you can ask them questions, you can have them ask you questions. So for me, it's more of a connecting with the current audience, which will build that relationship and community and your tribe.
Okay, cool. I like that approach. Sharf, like you started about 7, 8 years ago, right? You're
Yeah,
doing
been
social
around
media
forever.
and a long time. That's good. What made you want to start that 7, 8 years ago? Like,
Mm.
what was your background before that, and what made you pivot?
Let's go way back, like 2010 back, with I think IG just rolled out or something. Um, so I actually used to work in the nightlife, and I would be the girl that hired a I don't know. At the time, they would hire like 20 plus models to and videographers and photographers would come in and blast it, so it'd make it look like it was a poppin' club. So what's funny enough is this is how I met one of my clients, Michael Sartain, is he was working with another guy. They would do these events, and I was the girl that hired the girls to come to the events, so we would shoot the content, and then, I was doing my best at the time. There was not, like, editing tools. All of our content looked terrible. Like, I mean, we uploaded the entire album to our Facebook, every single picture,
Mhm.
but it was a fun time. And so I did that for a while, and so it wasn't new to social media. It was a personal hobby outlet for me to be creative that I kinda turned into work. And then I'm not a night person at all. So when I dipped out of like doing nightlife work, I was working trade shows and events and was still doing the social media thing for me personally. But clients would be they were given we were submitting our social media profiles for them to consider hiring us for the trade show booth. And when they did, they'd be like, hey, can you shoot some content while you're here with just your phone or whatever? And it's sort of like morphed into that. By the way, that helped me with branding. I had to learn hundreds of brands working trade shows and events. I had to learn about hundreds of brands. And when that happens, you start to notice patterns and just different things that brands need to stand out or how they stood out. And, I can't even quantify like the skills that I gathered from doing such a random job. But then I started picking up social media management about 7, 8 years ago, and I was doing med spas, doctors, like plastic surgeons. I had fitness companies, but every time I was working with them, I was trying to pull in I didn't even think about it being called personal branding. Keep in mind, personal branding is not that old. I mean, we're talking in the last decade, like, really less, probably like last 8 years, where it became a little bit more known. And so I was working with these companies. I was trying to pull their personal brand story through it to make them stand out. And I didn't know what it was called at the time. So then when I ended up working with Cody, that's when I went all in with the personal branding, and personal brands were really starting to stand out at that time. It was like the messaging was being heard that personal brands are a thing. Gary Vaynerchuk was talking about it at the time a lot, starting to roll out that he thought it was going to be a big thing. So really in just like the last 7 or 8 years, it has been like a compilation of my last decade. And so I didn't just like wake up and decide. It was like I had been doing this and then it morphed into something else and then it evolved into something else. And then you get your bigger clients and then you become known for them and then people want to work with you and it just continues to evolve.
Cool. No, I love it. I love that transition.
Yeah.
You mentioned brands, which is pretty cool. I think that's a key thing for everyone. You mentioned patterns and like standouts. Like,
Mhm.
what were some of those things that you can kind of talk about that
Mhm.
brands use that all have in common?
Yeah, and so, again, it's like having, like I said, strong associations. You wanna
Mhm.
know what your audience. First off, like, they know their audience. They know their audience. The ones that do well, they focus more on their audience more than they focus on what they want from it. And so, meaning like sometimes people go into building a brand and then they're just like, well, I want to be known for X, Y, and Z. This is important. But in order to figure out what you want your power strengths to be as a brand, you need to know the audience that you plan to market to. But like they really know that person's pain point. They really understand what they want from it, what desired result that they want. They understand, they know what they're listening to, they know how their days are going. They spend a lot of time getting to know their audience that they want to market to. And so I noticed that too because it's like working with every person. It's like immediately the best sales guys, they understood immediately how to like trigger those points in people because it's like they know that like, oh, this is going to be something that is going to be a drawback. It's the price that's going to make people like, oh, I can't afford this, or it's that the time. I don't have the time. So then they figure out a way to kind of go in and be like, no, we've got this solved for you. We're going to stand on this one. Or it's just that maybe they want to feel luxury. So they're trying to give them that feeling immediately when they step into the booth or when they hit their website or when they're on a phone call or in their content. And so I think that one of the biggest patterns for the successful brands is how well they knew their audience and what they wanted and how to address the pain points ahead of time and also trigger some of those emotions of like the desires that they have. And people don't spend enough time researching their audience. I feel like that's a
Yeah.
big one. And it's not like you're trying to put the wool over their eyes or whatever. It's like, really, how are you going to serve an audience you don't know? So I know immediately when someone's going to be successful if they come in and they're just like, well, I just want to grow an audience. Like, I just want, and I'm like, well, why? And they don't have a clear answer for me. And then I'm like, you don't even know the audience you're going to market to. How would you offer them something that they would want? Because I don't believe in going into things blindly. You have so many ways to test your audience. People poll them. They put out quizzes. There's questionnaires. They go out and they start talking to people ahead of time, and so they do their research as well before they launch a product or a service to know that there's a need for it. They start studying other people who are successful in their industries as well. And so that's one thing is the fact that they know their audience. They also know themselves. Now, in the beginning stages, especially as a personal brand, like if you were like, Char, I really want to grow my personal brand. There's a couple of things I'm interested in. Maybe I'm like into the real estate, but then I'm not sure if I want to be an educator or I want to focus on the luxury or what I want to do. Or maybe I even want to talk about like flipping homes. I don't know yet. That's fine.
Mhm.
But let's go in with what you do know first because you evolve as you're building. And what you think you want often changes at least a little bit along that journey. And you don't get to figure out what that is until you start taking steps towards it. You do not know what's at step number 10 until you've gone through steps 1 through 9. And people want
Yeah.
to jump ahead and they want to become the person at step number 10 that knows it all, that has the clarity, that has everything. And I'm like, this is a journey. It's a personal journey for you. It's super empowering because you get to know yourself on a better level. You have to go through those vulnerable stages when you're like, I don't know if what I'm putting out there is good. And it's like, it's okay. Put out something that sucks. And then learn from it because you're going to get better from doing that. And so the successful brands also, they understand I don't have to know it all. I'm going to start with where I'm at and I'm going to continue building on that. And I become better because I'm investing in this, not for just like 90 days, not for a quick hit, not just to become famous overnight, but this is something that I want to be a part of in the long run. And because of that, and when they're committed to that and they understand that it's a journey, then they evolve with it. They're not just trying to pass it off to a team, they're evolving with it. So I think it's very important to understand that you got to get to know yourself and you have to be involved in the brand that you're building.
Gotcha. My question for you, Shar, was do you think it's too oversaturated or too like there's too much competition or too much like you think I think everyone's just trying to get viral and try to do everything in between, but do you think there's room for everyone or is
Yeah,
it just
let me crush that idea really quickly. Terry, have you ever talked to somebody and when you've heard somebody tell you something 1,000 times, but maybe it was a friend of yours, maybe it was a coworker, maybe it was somebody that you really looked up to, and when they said it to you, it really hit home. It's like, I've heard this 100 times, but the timing wasn't right. It wasn't the right person giving me the message. I've heard it on the radio in a song. I've heard it in a book. I've read it, I've seen it, but it wasn't really like maybe the timing of my life, I wasn't really open to that message. There are people that you and other people will come in contact as a personal brand, especially as a business. There are people that you will come in contact with. And the way that you deliver the message and the timing and the fact that it's coming from you cannot be replaced by somebody else. And so this idea that something's oversaturated, I'm like, there's only one Terry. There's only one, whoever it is, Alex Hermosi. There's only one you out there who thinks that you have no influence at all. I don't care if you only have 20, 200 followers, 20 followers, whatever it is. The people are listening and following you because something about you and your story, which cannot be replaced by somebody else, resonated with them. There's something about you that when you deliver the message, it hit home and they wanted to hear it from you. And so I don't believe in any of that bullshit that it's oversaturated because I'm like, oh man, I think about the people who gave me a message during a time that I really needed it.
Mm.
They weren't famous. I'm so glad that the person that gave me that message where I saw like a reel or I was having a conversation, maybe it was even just like somebody that was like on site when I was working and I was doing an event and they said something to me that really hit home in that moment. They were a messenger for me and I didn't need the song. I didn't need to hear it from a famous person. I didn't need to hear it because I was reading something and somebody was trying to be motivational online in the moment. It wasn't hitting home. The timing wasn't right.
Mhm.
People want to hear it from you. And so anybody that's like listening to this, I hope they understand that there is a community out there that you will only reach. Somebody else will never ever reach unless you roll out the thing that you want to do. You will be reaching your community in a way that nobody can.
I love it. Yeah, I think that speaks home. I think that's very true. I think you also like you said it the exact same way too, and this kind of brought back memory. I think it was Gary Vee said the same thing too. Like someone like you said it so perfectly, but like you just have to focus on you. You'll attract your audience and so forth. So I love how you put that into words.
Yeah. And because too, like there's some people that they can't hear it from somebody else because their lifestyle doesn't resonate with them. They don't look the same. So then they're like, I need to hear it from somebody that I feel like looks like me. Like I'm sure like there's definitely gonna be people that you're in your circles that you reach better than I am. They're like, who's this stupid girl? I don't want to hear it from her. But I understand that and I'm not offended by it. I understand that. Like I understand that certain people need to hear certain messages from different people because I don't know their lives. I don't know what they've been through. I don't understand like their language and like you do. So like other people, I'm like, you understand. It resonates with you because you've lived a different life than me. Like there's so many things and you have different interests than me, you know? Like I wouldn't understand the gamer community. They don't probably want to hear it from me. But if a gamer stood out and said it, then it probably would hit home because they have a different language, you know?
That's true. That's true. Everyone does. Everybody does. Shar, you mentioned you just moved. You settling in, stuff like that. On a personal note, do you wanna, get married, settle down when you're, at a certain point? Like, what's your whole goal?
I've been my I hate saying the term boyfriend, partner, whatever you want to call it. I've been with him for over 3 years now. I mean, to us, we're married. We're not like we haven't done the wedding thing or been married and
Mhm.
maybe we will at some point. We don't even think about it. I don't mean we don't think about it too much. I'm sure we might one day. But to us, we're in it to win it. And I had been through crazy. I mean, just I dated so haphazard, which is funny to me because like when I'm thinking about like when you're out there, you're choosing people to date.
Mhm.
I mean, you're not haphazard with the way you probably run your business. So, like, why would you be haphazard with the type of people you date? And so, I had been single for a while. And then when I met Jeremy, and we worked together really well, but we keep our things separate as well. Jeremy owns Okada Media and I own Brand Social. And I just bring him into projects as I'm able because he has his own thing going and he's shooting, like I said, film, commercial, resorts, he's often traveling and he's on sets. And I sort of just drug him into my projects a little bit because when you get somebody anyway, when you have somebody that's like a teammate like that, like I think it's if you decide you want to work together, you need to have boundaries too. It's like, are we enjoying this? Like, do we work
Yeah.
well together or do we not?
Yeah.
Is it helpful? But, like, last week we were working together and it was so much fun, and we worked and it took us a minute to figure that out too, and we keep things, like, fun and light and, in general in our lives, and I think whoever you choose as a partner, just make sure that, like, you still have fun in life. Like, I
Mhm.
am actually more motivated by things that I find fun, even though I feel like there's, like, we live in an age that people like, "Oh, no, you gotta, like,
Yeah.
kill yourself in order to whatever." I don't really buy into that. I think that you can still live light, happy, and free as much as possible. Like, there's obviously things in life that happen, but I think that you should still have fun with your work and your partner and like and include that just as much as you should wanting to win, be motivated. And everybody has different values and things. So I feel like I've got it dialed in, but it took me years and I'm still growing, learning human, being a partner in a relationship. And more so, I just feel like I'm at a phase in my life where instead it's like, it's not just like, what can I get from this person? It's like, what can I give in a
Oh,
relationship? And when you both
nice.
are doing that, then the dynamic is so much better. And so I feel really, really, I don't know, lucky to have him. And for me, like I said, he's a very different, like he's very different culture. It's Hawaiian and Asian mixed. And for me, that was like such a left field because I don't know anything about the culture, but I've learned so much in the last few years and I love their culture. I love that it's different from mine. Type A, I used to be so type A personality. I don't know, stressy. And I remember my friends in the last few years were like, "You're so much calmer now." And I'm like, "Yeah, well, that also comes from like working with client." I mean, like, I just feel like I went through that phase of life where you're just like grinding away and it's stressful and you don't, I don't know. I don't know about anybody else, but I didn't handle it well. Like I was a stress mess. And now I feel like I've relaxed and I just don't take it. I take it seriously, but I don't take it too
Mhm.
seriously. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah,
just like, I don't take things as personal. I have my moments, trust me, but I feel like I live a lot lighter these days.
good. Yeah, you only live once, don't stress out too much. So you and your boyfriend, well, do you guys want any kids down the road, or you guys just cool chilling with each other? Like, what's
Yeah, I think the kids thing, that ship sailed for me,
okay,
probably age-wise too, but I maybe adopt at some point or I don't know,
okay,
we've talked about it. We might. It wasn't a priority. It's funny, I was moving and, I found my yearbook and I put in there that wanted by 26, I said, which didn't have it. I'm in my 40s now, by the way. But like I said, by 26, I will be married with no kids. And I put that in my yearbook when
okay.
I was in high school, and I just never and that's like I lost both my parents passed away in the last year,
I'm
and,
sorry to hear that.
it was a bit of a tough time, but I had had a tough childhood, a really tough childhood, and, I think as a result of that, my siblings didn't want kids, although one of them did have a kid by accident, but we grew up knowing that we didn't want kids, and I think that came as a result of not being close to our parents in some ways. I just didn't I don't know. I had a very different view of family growing up than I feel like, maybe other people did, and
Right.
now I see that. Now as I'm, like, getting older, I see how it affected me, and, I don't it's not that I regret that, but I can definitely see how it changed me and made me not have, like, maybe if I grew up with, like, a more supportive family with, like, you know what I mean, very involved with each other. I had 2 jobs at 14. I was grinding away since I was an early teenager. Yeah, and I was involved in church, in the ministry. I thought I wanted to be an evangelist. Like, it was a very different time that
Mhm.
I moved out of, and, like, that was my goal. Like, I was like, "I'm gonna move to California, and I'm gonna be an evangelist," and wow, it's funny to think about, like, things later, but then you see glimpses of what you
Mhm.
wanted in your youth and still who you are today, you know?
Exactly. You mentioned 2 jobs when you were 14. What
Yeah.
the heck?
I was working at the mall,
Oh,
JCPenney. It was one of them. So, yeah, it's so funny. Like, I worked at the mall. I was a mall rat, 100% a mall rat, and, like,
nice.
I was going to school, and I was involved in the church, and, that was my life until I was 20, uh, I think I was
Mhm.
22 when I stepped away from that religion, although I still have a lot of the same beliefs, but I wasn't, like I was Pentecostal growing up, and so, no makeup, no pants,
Mhm.
like, we were very, very conservative family, and, so when I stepped away from that, then I moved to Vegas when I was 26. It was different definitely a leap of change, but I moved to Vegas for a job opportunity, for a fitness company because I wanted to work in the fitness industry. It evolved, and it didn't work out, but I ended up moving here, and that's what brought me to Vegas in the first place.
Nice. Okay, cool. Do you think you mentioned like growing up shaped you to who you are today? And I think that's so key for anyone with their upbringing. What was some of those things that helped you
I feel
growing up?
like yeah, well, God, I have to give credit there because, like, I swear I
100%.
don't think I would be alive today if I and I was very resistant to that. So, I was living with my mom, and, she developed schizophrenia, and so, that is, like I don't even know how to describe it. At the time when keep in mind so I'm 42 now, like, I forget how old I am. So, at the time when I was little, the places for mental health were literally like these I mean, I was in Indiana, it was like houses in the back of the woods. They did not have these healthy
Facilities.
places that look like resorts now to care for people who were going through mental trauma, and it wasn't heard of. Like, it wasn't like you didn't talk about it. No one talked about, like, anxiety and things like that. We didn't even that wasn't even a word used, like so when I lived with her and I was like a latchkey kid. Like I came home, like, I was by myself a lot. She was like out partying and stuff. And then she sort of developed this schizophrenia. And then it was like she was in and out of hospitals, mental institutions. And they were institutions. They were not like nice places. I ended up moving in with my dad, and both of my parents were alcoholics my entire life. So I didn't know anything else other than them drinking and whatever. But workaholics too. My dad was a workaholic, loved working, super smart, but he was like a functional alcoholic. So I moved in with him and my stepmother. I don't have anything bad to say about her, but it didn't do well for my childhood to have her around. Like it wasn't a healthy relationship, and so I felt like I remember my friends were like, "You're like, Cinderella, like, you that's how it is, because it's like you go home and you walk on eggshells, like, nobody wants you there." So what I did is I started, going to church because they were going to church when I moved with my mom. My stepmom was going to church, my sisters, stepsisters, I was an only child with half and stuff. And, I was like, "Ew, I hated it." I hated going to church for that first year. And then I remember I went to, like, one service, and it changed me, and I was just crying, and it just, like, hit I don't something changed me, and it, like, melted away. And after that, I didn't have anything else. I didn't have a cell phone, like, things like we weren't connected to other people. Like, I just put my time. I was just like, "Okay, I'm gonna, like, pour my life into this because it's making me feel good." That's why. And so I did. And then I also was working the 2 jobs, but I just wanted out of the house and I wanted to make my own money so I could buy my own clothes. I was like, "I'm gonna move to California." And so long story short, that really I had to learn how to believe in myself. And I remember I was reading this book, called The Battlefield of the Mind by Joyce Meyer. And it's so funny because a lot of books this is an old book, but it talks about like the power of your mind and what you bring into your world by how you believe and you think and feel. And I think I was probably 15 when I read that book. And I reread it and I reread it and I reread it. That book changed me because I didn't know that that was even a thing. I was a teenager, I was young. Nobody talks about that. Like, I was told growing up that, like, my dreams were like, Char lives in a fantasy world. She'll never whatever, like, I was always told. I was always in trouble for daydreaming. And so, that book changed me, and it made me realize that I was powerful myself. And I had had suicidal thoughts, and I had thought about, like, "This is a terrible life. I don't wanna be in it. Nobody wants me here," because I was kind of like my dad was always working. My stepmom was very young. I see that now. I think she was 28, and she did not I was not the baggage she wanted to bring on. And so, yeah, like that changed me being a teenager and learning to just pour into myself and having to just like I said, you just gotta sometimes you gotta like fight for yourself a little bit. And I did that young. And man, I feel like that's why it creates a different foundation for me today. Hardship creates a different foundation. Like I had to be an adult at a very young age. Like I had to make some adult decisions at a very young age. I had power of attorney over my mom when I was 18 for a while there. And so like
Wow.
different things like that will shape you. And I can't even describe it, but it resonates with me more when somebody had like a hard life than when they have an easy life. But I don't fault either one. Someone said, "Oh, sure, you could grow up with a silver spoon in your mouth with Walt." Of course. Yeah. Thanks. I'm gonna take it. But I actually am glad for my journey
Mhm.
because I value friendships so much. They're my family to me. I value people. I can see the pain when somebody's, like, experiencing something. I understand that, like, I
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to relate to people without it, I feel like. Do you know what I mean? Like, without that kinda stuff.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I love it. I love it. Kudos to you with that, breaking through that journey and then where you are today.
Yeah.
Big difference. And it's going to continue to keep going. So I love it. I love it. Shar, what's your goal for the rest of the year? Like, do you have anything cool
Yeah.
going on or?
Yeah, I'm launching a website, and, for me, it was a big deal because I think there's a lot of people coming out on social media, and they don't have, you're not sure if they're, like, real, right? Like, there's a lot of scams going on, there's a lot of people who say they make up the you can create anything with ChatGPT, AI,
Oh, yeah.
fake testimonies, fake results. And I really wanted to build confidence in the customer, the client that I have with like real results, real testimonies, and a really nice website too for the people who don't value social media the same. Because keep in mind, it's bridging that gap of the people who come to me who know they're at a space that needs social media, but they're not there yet. So where are they looking? They're also looking at websites. So, I invested a lot of money, a lot of time in this website. Should roll out in the next 3 weeks. And so it'll be brandsocialagency.com. And I'm very excited for that, for more speaking opportunities to come out of it too, because I love speaking in front of groups. But I want to make sure that I'm still serving my audience the way that they need to be served. And so just getting myself in order has been a journey as well, because I offer a few different things. I have the consulting, the management, and speaking. And I also do in the content creator in Las Vegas. I have a foodie page that I co-run. So yeah, I think the website's a big one. And then I still love travel. Last year we went to Japan for 2 weeks, and I think we want to go for like a month this year. Again, I just love the culture. I don't know if you've
Really?
ever been. If you've never
No,
been,
not yet.
go. Go. I can't describe to you. It's like the safest. I mean, like it's a very peaceful place. Things are cheap there right now. So like the money conversion. So I'd say my thing this year is just doing what I do now, but better. And like I said, getting a little bit like into the business side of things with the website. And yeah, I haven't been consistent with my emails, things that like little things that I let fall away that I just need to get better at.
Cool. No, I love it. No, I never been to Japan, but I heard good things about it. So you want to go for a full month now this time around? Like you just
We
want
would
to
love to live
just
there part-time. I don't speak the language, but he speaks it well enough. Jeremy speaks it well enough. But
nice.
it's the thing too, it's like, just bring a pocket translator. They're very patient though. Like, so and you'll see a lot of people walking around, and, they'll just talk into something, and then they'll, converse that way, and they're very patient people. So, like, cleanest place I'd ever been. I told someone, I was like, "You could walk through a dark alley with Louis Vuitton shopping bags as a woman at night, an elderly woman at night, and feel safe." It's the
Wow.
weirdest thing. I've never been to a place like that. So I love and I wanna experience. I mean, I've experienced other cultures too, but I'd love to experience even more than that. But that one in general really resonated with me because of just, like, how much peace, probably because I also didn't understand the language, so I'm walking around and I'm like, "La, la, la, I can't understand it." I was like, I mean, for 2 weeks, I didn't understand the language, so I'm just like, it was kind of nice for me. Who's very connected to everything, Slack,
Yeah.
WhatsApp, email, text, oh my god, you know what I mean? And so
Uh-huh.
but, I really like it there, and like I said, you can get the bang for the buck because the conversion is insane right now, and
Cheaper.
it's you can eat the best meals for, like, 20 bucks for 2. We ate, like, $16 amazing lunch for 2 people, like, it's crazy.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite food out there that you have to have?
I mean, he probably does. I have a list. What's funny is like, yes, they have great sushi and all of that there, but their 7-Elevens are famous. The Japanese 7-Eleven is like I don't even know how to describe it, but I think we're getting one in Las Vegas, which is crazy, but they have the best foods. We'll get like cuisines. I mean, like all these grab and go snacks and foods that you've never seen. They have
Mhm.
like full on like, everything like organic cotton clothing areas because people are busy. They'll have, like, button-down shirts and stuff to go because everyone's very much on the go there. But they're famous for their 7-Elevens, and they have the best little of course, the restaurants are nice. Like, we've done all the whatever, the fancy things, but, like, you gotta go to a Japanese 7-Eleven, I'm telling you.
I didn't know they had 7-Elevens out there. That's
Oh,
crazy.
they're literally famous for it. I think it originated there. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Yeah,
Okay.
or,
That's
like,
cool.
I think maybe they didn't originate from there, but they have like a home station there too.
Mhm. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Shar, what one last thing I'd like to ask guests. Well, before I ask that, what's the best way for people to reach out to you to learn more about
Yeah.
your consulting, everything,
Be on the
one-on-ones,
lookout for the
coaching?
website is one, because my email might change. But right now, if you just go to Char Brand Social on social media, CHAR Brand Social, you'll find me, my business page there on Instagram, my email, you can reach me there, contact form. You can email me at info@charmodel.com. That may change because I may keep it for a while, but that may change in the next 6 months, 3 months if I get rid of that email. But yeah, you can reach out to me on social media or just my name, Char Modell. It's all if you look up Char Modell, then you'll find me in all of them.
Hands down, guys. I'll have the links below. Shar, one last thing I'd like to ask guests is what keeps you going every day when you want to give up? Whether it's your beginning of your journey, now, middle, what's your
I think
take?
just like I really love life. And I mean, it's my purpose as well, but just like I really understand the value of being alive. And I think I try not to take that for granted. Like there are people that even you just think about like how crazy it is that you get to be alive in this moment and that there are some people, I mean, and healthy and well
Mhm.
and able to really experience life. I really try to maximize those moments because I've seen people decline in health and I've seen people pass away, like we all do. But like, do you really understand like how lucky you are to be alive in this moment? And I kind of live with that emotion. I'm very emotion driven by that because I know that like time is fleeting, but you want to make the most of the time that you have for yourself and for others, but not just self sacrificing. Enjoy your life too for you as well. And I feel like when you do that, that actually helps you be of more service to others because you're really, really happy and fulfilled in your own life.
100%. I agree. Be grateful. Be grateful.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, guys, you heard it first. The one and only Shar. I'll have the links below. Reach out to her, social media, website, all that stuff in between. If you want
Thanks,
to blow
Terry.
up, you're welcome. And if you want to blow up on Instagram, I highly recommend talk to Shar, man. She can help you out. But yeah, thank you, Shar, so much for coming on.
You.
Appreciate your time.
It's an honor.
Thank you. And everyone to the next episode. Peace out.
Bye.